Hey guys, today we're talking about 7 mistakes guys make when selecting their first suit.
Hey guys, welcome back to Gent's Lounge. I'm George, this is Blake. If you have not hit that subscribe button yet, hit that right now. We are here every week talking about men's fashion, lifestyle, and everything in between. But today we're talking about the 7 mistakes guys make when selecting their first suit. Even if it's not your first suit, you're gonna wanna pay attention.
Now, up first on the list, most guys choose the wrong size or don't even know the actual sizing.
Right guys, I mean, I remember my first suit and I went to, I think it was Express because I needed a suit for graduation from high school or something. And one, I don't think people in Express really understand how a suit should fit. You've just been told certain things, and depending on where you are in America or the world, everyone thinks a suit should fit differently. Wasn't quite happening when I got my first suit, so I think I am a 42 regular now, but I was in a 44 long.
Wow. Wow. That's like...
At, either 13 or 18, I was up one size and my arms were somehow longer.
Up next on the list, guys, most guys don't even know what style they want. Now, suits come in various different styles, from single-breasted to double-breasted to peak lapel, notch lapel. I think you don't need to know the tiny details, but you need to know if you're gonna be wearing a notch versus a peak lapel, or even like a double-breasted versus a single-breasted.
Right, and kind of what those options mean. So if you're gonna go, notch lapel, it's gonna be a little more normal.
Yes.
If you go peak lapel, it's gonna be bolder. Double-breasted is gonna be bolder. Single-breasted is pretty standard. So single-breasted notch lapel, about as standard and normal as you can get. If you're a bolder guy and want to make more of a statement, even if it's your first suit and you're that type of guy, I would go still single-breasted peak lapel. And I would not do a double-breasted for your first suit, but you do have the option. And up next on the list, guys, people buy suits for a certain occasion and don't think about like long-term use of the suit. So, if you're gonna buy a suit for a funeral, a wedding, a job interview, and you're buying it for one specific occasion, you should think about its uses across all of those versus just that one, because it's gonna be your one suit and you're going to want to wear it to multiple things. If you need it for a funeral, go gray. If you need it for a job interview, I think navy's standard because it goes across the board, and you can go wedding with a navy suit, you can go job interview,
yes.
You can go just out on the town with jeans and a blazer with a navy suit.
You could break it apart, there's so much you can do with it.
Right, navy is probably the most versatile, and if you need it for specifically a funeral, I would still go like charcoal gray, just because that's gonna work in all your other occasions and not gonna make you look like you're always at a funeral.
So following that, the next mistake we made was that we went with a bold pattern, which is something you shouldn't do for your first suit.
Right, yeah, my first suit was very big pinstripes. I think it had like 4 buttons and was very bold. I looked like a mob boss.
You look like Steve Harvey.
Hey, I mean, when people don't know how to fit you for a suit and your dad was like a big fan of the 70s, that's what you get. And the problem with bold patterns also is that when you wear them, people notice you wore them.
Yes.
So, big patterns, big pinstripes, big double-breasted peak lapel suits, they make a statement, which is not a bad thing. But if you need to wear this suit like more than once a week to your job, that is not the suit you want to wear to your job. Because even though you can switch it up and make it look different, people will remember that suit. So, bolder patterns are a few suits down the road, as we've discussed in our first 5 suits video, which I will link down below.
All right, guys, so now the next mistake we made when getting our first suit is that we wore it straight off the rack. Like, we didn't know anything about the small adjustments that need to be made with tailoring.
Right, guys, so when you're buying your first suit, you pretty much have the mentality of, it fits, like, it looks good.
Yes.
When you're buying your first suit, anytime you put on any suit, for most guys, if it's your first suit, you feel like James Bond. You feel like $1 million. You're like, oh shit, wearing a suit. This looks great.
Yeah.
And then, you look back 10 years later and you go, boo, okay. The little adjustments make a big difference. Even if, the sleeve length isn't right, you can adjust that, pinch the waist a little bit. But when you're buying your first suit, make sure it fits in the shoulders and the length is close. One thing, even if the blazer or the jacket fits perfect, I will say 99% of the time, the pants are going to need some sort of work. At least a hem, if not anything else.
Yes.
Just trust me on that, guys. Ask the store you buy the suit at, if it's Nordstrom or Bloomingdale's or a department store. Sometimes they'll even offer free tailoring, but ask for it. And if it's an extra 15, 20 bucks, it is well worth it. All right, guys, and up next on the list, a mistake most guys make when buying their first suit is they don't look at the fabric.
Yes.
So, there's tons of things you really need to think about when you buy your first suit, and it might be a little overwhelming, but if we can help just a little bit, you really want to consider the climate that you live in, the seasons that you're going to be wearing the suit mostly, whether it's a dry climate or humid, and find a fabric that works accordingly. All right, guys, and the last mistake guys make is they go way too expensive on their first suit.
Yes, this is your first suit. I just recently got a DM from somebody asking me about their first suit. They were like, hey Blake, I'm gonna get my first suit. Should I go with Canali? They're saying Brioni, Xenia. And I was like, dude, hell no. Like, honestly, I'm a huge fan of those brands, but I think for your first suit, you're gonna wanna target an entry-level suit brand like Suit Supply, Indochino, something a little bit more on the economical side, just to ease your way into wearing suits, because you don't know if you're actually gonna wear this specific suit again. So I have one more thing, guys. This is for George and I. I think me personally, a mistake I made when getting my first suit is that I didn't take off. There comes like stitching where it keeps the buttons.
The X's.
Yeah, the X's on the actual sleeves, on the back of your jacket. It's on top. And also your pocket square thing is not cut, And I left all that on and I went to an event and I just felt like a jackass because somebody pointed it out.
All right, guys, and that pretty much wraps up the video. I hope this was helpful. I hope you don't make these mistakes. Comment below what mistakes you've made, and we'll see you on the next one, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.